Well, Klay, thank you very much for joining me. I really look forward to the talk that we're about to have.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here.
Why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself? How did you get into the infrastructure side of proof of stake?
Well, my background is in distributed systems engineering. I worked on resilience, telemetry pipelines, automation. When early POS networks appeared, I noticed something important. Many reliability practices we take for granted in enterprise systems simply were not there. That gap is what pulled me into the space. I wanted to see if validated systems could behave as predictably as traditional infrastructure.
And what types of engineering challenges were you dealing with before FortisX?
Mainly reliability and observability challenges, high load environments, regional redundancy, automation frameworks. And that experience later became the foundation for how we look at proof-of-stake infrastructure today.
Now, FortisX has been around since 2018. What were some of the first challenges that you had to overcome?
Validator instability, uptime was inconsistent, and observability was basically non-existent. Institutional operators couldn't manage this manually, and without proper metrics, you simply can't build trust. So our first goal was one thing: predictable validator behavior.
And how would you describe the evolution of FortisX over the years?
We started by understanding validator metrics. Then we built internal tools. Later came automation, risk models, scoring, policy-based allocation. And today, FortisX is a full infrastructure platform, not a toolkit.
So let's say you have someone who is familiar with infrastructure, but they are new to staking. How would you explain FortisX to them?
FortisX is an orchestration or observability layer on top of proof of stake. The same way orchestration system sit above AWS or GCP, we sit above distributed validator operations. Visibility, stability, policy enforcement, automation.
And what are the core components of the product?
Three main components: telemetry and analytics, transparency first; the risk layer, scoring and alerts; the allocation engine, automation based on strict policies. Everything else frames these core pieces.
And what exactly does predictable validator performance mean?
It means the validator behaves consistently under any condition: load, upgrades, network fluctuations. Institutions don't want good on average. They want determinism. And you can only manage risk when behavior is predictable.
And what risks do people underestimate the most?
Operational risk. People worry about slashing, but most issues come from everyday things: late upgrades, configuration errors, weak monitoring. These are far more common than people assume.
And how does your risk scoring system work?
We collect telemetry, turn it into indicators, and run those through our scoring model. The output is a risk score that allows the system to automatically avoid unstable validators. And
what is policy-based allocation?
It's allocation driven entirely by rules. For example, no more than X% per validator, avoid operators above a risk threshold, rebalance on deviation. This removes human error and makes the system's behavior repeatable.
What were the most difficult technical challenges at scale?
Resilience across many networks. Validators behave differently chain to chain, so we built unified telemetry and control systems. The second challenge was predictable latency across regions that required a lot of engineering work.
And your approach to telemetry and observability is what?
Simple principle. If a metric is inactionable, it's noise. We collect a lot of data, but only rely on indicators that drive real decisions. Observability without action is just pretty charts.
And how does FortisX ensure fault tolerance?
Multiple layers, geographic redundancy, independent monitoring paths, fallback mechanisms, configuration checks. The goal is simple. No single failure should lead to unpredictable behavior.
And how do you view institutional staking today?
It's growing, but still fragmented. Institutions want standards, policies, auditability, predictability, you name it. Those requirements are only getting stronger.
And what changes do you expect in the next 2 to 3 years?
More automation, deeper risk models, stronger observability. Validator operations will resemble traditional high-load systems with SLAs, formal processes, engineering standards.
And finally, what are your midterm goals for FortisX?
Strengthening the risk layer, expanding multi-region infrastructure, integrating more networks, and moving toward deeper behavioral analysis. We don't build for hype, we build for reliability and long-term stability.
Well, I think that covers it. We're done. You made it. How do you feel about this?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure for me. I feel okay, but I'm not used to be on camera.
Yeah, I think you did great. You weren't too stiff or anything like that. Once again,
Thank
Klay,
you.
thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.